Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Slowed and Reverb podcast. I'm Jonathan, and joining me are my two good friends, Richard and Brandon.
Hello, hello. Welcome back after a month.
Has it really been a month?
No, it's been 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was a month. It's been a while.
Yeah, I had finals and some other stuff came up, and it's been a pretty busy 2 weeks. But we're back. We're better than ever, and we're ready to talk about the 2018 album by Earl Sweatshirt, Some Rap Songs. Uh, yeah, let's just start off, like we normally do, and give some broad pre thoughts to the album. You guys want to go first before I, you know?
I'll go first since I picked up the album. So Earl has been one of my favorite rappers since like what 2013, 2014 when I got into Odd Future and stuff. And for me, he's always stood out as like the he's the lyricist, he's the rapper. And I really enjoyed the music he's produced like oh my god, this is embarrassing. Doris, when Doris dropped, it was one of my favorite albums. Uh, and Earl has gotten me through some tough times. So yeah, going into this album, I think it was like what 2 years since he's dropped because this came out in 2017, I think, or 2019, and then right, it came out 20. I don't know,
2018.
2018. Yeah, so 3 years before he dropped or after he dropped. I don't like Shadow Go Outside. And a lot of people had high expectations. It's been a while since we've heard from Earl, and the most we've gotten was either snippets that he's posted or songs that he's performed at concerts. So there wasn't that much Earl content out there. Everyone was fiending for Earl content, and finally he dropped. And yeah, I had really high expectations for the album, and it's one of my favorite Earl albums. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Richard, you want to give your pre thoughts to the album?
Yeah, I didn't really have any expectations going into this because before ever listening to Earl, out of the Odd Future camp, I only really listened to Frank Ocean and Tyler. And so, I only heard of Earl from like people like other people online just like really wanting to hear an album, and I never bothered to listen to his like earlier works. But I chose this one. I figured, since it was a new album, I might as well give Earl a shot. I don't know if this was the right album to try to do that with, but yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. I did not expect what Earl put out here at all.
All right. I'll talk about it now. So I have a pretty extensive background in like underground and experimental rap albums. At least I've heard lots of the major ones. Have heard lots of the not so major ones. I've been all around the park. And Earl as an artist, I really like Doris. I really liked I Don't Like Shit. I Don't Go Outside. So by all means, I came into this album thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this one, right? It only makes sense. Because I like Earl. I like this kind of experimental production. I like this wave. Um, and I actually did also have high expectations, but unlike Brandon, I don't think mine were quite as met on this one. And I'll get into details why later, but um, overall, it's not a bad album. I'm not gonna sit here and trash it like I did the Brockhampton one. That's for sure. But I probably won't have as high regards for it like the other members here might. Um, but with that said, let's just dive into track one. Shattered Dreams. What do we think about track one?
So I'll start. Shattered Dreams is, I think, a great introduction into the album. Wait, hold on. Give me a second. My Discord. All right, yeah. So Shattered Dreams, I think, is a great introduction to the album. It really captures like, I think the what really surprised me when I first listened to this album was the production. It was very different from what I've heard on Doris and I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside. Um, yeah, it was really like, I don't know how to describe the production. It's very, very lo-fi ish, I guess, if that's the term.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really love the intro because it's Earl talking like he's depressed, but no one's telling him like, "Hey, dude, like you're like becoming like self-destructive or whatever." You know, like with the opening chorus, he's talking about like, "Why is no one telling me that I'm bleeding and stuff like that?" And yeah, Earl uses a lot of like wordplay and stuff to describe just how he's feeling, and I think it captures the whole album really well.
All right. Richard, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean this was a strange, unexpected opening to this album. Well, I guess not so much because the singles he put out gave like a really weird vibe to the album too, but like it just it was not what I was expecting on first listen. I really like the sample in the background that's looping, and Earl's flow on this, he's kind of like slurring, he's kind of like doesn't seem like he's not really all there. It's a pretty dark opener, really. But yeah, very strange. Very but I liked it. I liked it though.
Yeah. I agree with the strange opener. And I agree with lots of what you said, Richard. Uh, I I I heard the beat when I first heard it. You know, I heard the beat and I was like, okay, I get it. You can hear the Mad Lib type like Mad Villainy influence all over this album, and you instantly hear it with the production, like pretty straightforward right away. But I think, and I would normally I would expect to like this type of production, but for some reason this seems so drab. It seems so kind of like it's not like fleshed out enough. I don't think it's just there. You know, I don't necessarily like vibe with it, if that makes sense. And then Earl's like slurring his words. He's not really on the beat, which the beat barely has a beat, but still. And like I get the subject matter. I get what he's saying. Earl's a great writer. He's very clever here. But I don't care enough to with how kind of grating the song is and how like off it seems, I can't really get into the lyrical material as much as I'd like to, you know? Which I mean, I don't know. I listen to lots of experimental rap, but this was a chore to listen to half the time cuz it's so slow and it doesn't really I don't know. But this is an intro track. When I first heard it, I already knew I was in for a ride if this set the tone. And I think it does set the tone. But yeah. Um
Well, I think him like being offbeat, even if there even is a beat, and the I will say the instrumental, like the production is pretty lazy when you compare it to like Madlib and stuff like that, because I've gone on like YouTube type beats and like you can find something
yeah.
similar to this, but I think it all fits the mood of the album, if that makes sense. Where Earl on this album is talking about his mental health and stuff, and so it's only fitting that his voice sounds slurred because he's tired or stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Which
can, I can see that.
which helps and doesn't help when you're like trying to listen, because one thing is it fits the mood, but then is it enjoyable to listen to? Is it
Yeah,
re-listenable and stuff like that?
that's my biggest concern. Like, I can appreciate the artistry here. I think the concept of the album is neat. I think the production is okay for the most part. And I know for a fact, Earl, what he's saying on these tracks is great. This is fantastic material here. But it's all presented in a way that makes it so kind of hard to listen to. And I don't know. Um Normally I'd be into stuff like this, but the way he's, and I guess it kind of makes sense that the album feels kind of lazy, thrown together in a way. I mean, it's called Some Rap Songs. Like, he, 5 years of waiting, and then oh yeah, here's some songs, guys. Here you go. But like, I don't know. It makes it very hard to listen to in most moods. And if you're in the mood to listen to this, I still feel like there's better stuff, even in Earl's own discography, that can, scratch that itch. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't vibing with this one, and the next song, Redwater, I didn't care for it. It's short. It's kind of there. It's not familiar. Like, not familiar. What's the word? It's not memorable to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
I like Redwater. I think it's again, I could see the production, you not liking it. By the way, almost the entirety of this album was produced by Earl. But I feel I like this track simply for like, he kind of talks about his relationship with his father and how it isn't really the best. And I don't know. This track's okay. It's one of my favorites, but not like top 3 or anything. I really like the production though on this song. The production sounds like a cry for help, and I think that fits the mood of the album and what Earl was trying to say here, where he doesn't know whether to, I guess, stay with his father or just abandon his father type of thing.
I thought, Red Water was another weird one. I just don't like it's a song like this that makes me think like, or like wonder how, when someone's producing, like what makes them come up with this for the beat they want to rap over, they want to present their lyrics over. I just kind of wonder what, why Earl chose this out of, instead of something else. It's just so strange to listen to. I don't know if this was written.
It's also, sorry to interrupt. It's also mixed kind of like weird,
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
He's very quiet compared to the beat, which, I mean, I know it's a technique. I mean, Tyler, did that on Cherry Bomb, but
hmm
even so, it makes it that much more kind of like mushed together and lazy sounding almost. I'm not saying he's lazy in this project at all. That's not what I'm getting at. It just has that like vibe to it. Um, cause it all just kind of flows together at some points, and it's hard to differentiate. But sorry, continue, Richard.
No, you're fine. I mean, I would imagine like that is probably intentional, like you said, stylistic choice. It probably helps like convey the whole like depressed mood that he's in, just like thoughts flowing in and out without any sort of like rhyme or reason, really. And it's just like constant noise in his head or something. What I was saying before was that, I don't know if this was written, before or after his father's death, but it's just I don't know. It's very eerie to like I guess listening to this after his father has passed, releasing it after his passing. I just wonder uh why. Or I mean, I guess cuz his relationship with his father wasn't all that great. So I guess it was I mean, obviously it was pretty important to him, but I just wonder if he had like a different if this was written before, his father passed, I wonder if this song takes on a different meaning for him now. But yeah, it just this is another song. Just feels like he wasn't in a good place on this one either.
Um, I will say, just fun fact for this one track. Apparently, it samples a single that he dropped in 2015 called Solace," and yeah, in that song, he's also talking about like depression and where he's at currently. And yeah, I just want to add that.
All right. We'll go to the next track then. Cold Summers. I actually really like this one. Um, it's got a nice beat to it, I think. And Earl, rather than just kind of, you know, slurring his words here, he puts some actual energy and flow behind it, which I can really appreciate. Uh, it's probably the first track on here that stands out to me personally, and it kind of, it gave me that, at least on my first listen, with, a few years back. It did give me that feeling of it's not lost, um, but yeah, I'm actually pretty partial to Cold Summers. I really like the vibe of it.
Yeah, it's really crisp.
Mm.
And
It
like
sounds
yeah,
like. Oh, sorry. You go.
well, I was just gonna say like yeah, like Jonathan said, I mean his flow on this one is really great. Um, he can, I mean, I know like the first two songs were really a great representation of like beat and lyrics and flow like meshing well together because they were like really muddled. But I think like this really shows that like Earl can really rap over anything. And I mean he proved it later with East, but uh
How many references to East are we gonna have this episode?
that was the only one for me.
We
Rock
should
the
we should have
point.
dedicated the whole episode just to East. That would have been way better. Just talking about that one song, bar for bar.
How could we talk about the bars when there's that blaring like sea shanty in the background?
No, continue. Sorry.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, yeah, this song is pretty great. I mean, it sucks that it's only, a minute long, but I guess it's also, I don't know. It's good that it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a nice little snippet.
To add on to how like short the song is, I'm kind of glad at the same time that these songs aren't too long because I would know for a fact if like Shattered Dreams was like a minute longer, Jonathan would hate the album completely.
Oh yeah. That was a
So
big reason that Brockhampton just rubbed me the wrong way, was how long I had to sit there through it. But
plus, I think a minute is enough to. I mean, like yeah, he gets his message across through most of the tracks in such a short time frame. But yeah,
all right. You guys are gonna move on to Nowhere to Go. Let's let y'all start first. I bring the vibe down too much. Y'all go for it.
What's that supposed to mean? You're the host.
I'm the bitter old man.
You're the curator.
Still, yeah. Y'all go first for this one. Let's hear what you guys gotta say.
This is the first single, right, for the album?
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I keep saying, this album is strange. It's unexpected. But I, yeah, I didn't hate the single. This really caught my attention and made me want to listen to the whole thing. It's pretty in terms of like the whole album, it seems a bit less depressing. it seems like he's looking at how he's doing better. Uh, one thing one thing that I want to bring attention to is that like I guess he has a gold noose necklace, right? Is that he
Yeah.
wears? He references it quite a bit. Like in this song too. And it kind of like it's almost worrying, like I don't know if it's like I don't know what kind of meaning he places in it, but in another song that's like kind of optimistic but also still a little depressing, it's worrying that he references it still.
Um, I kind of took this song in a different approach. I mean, it does sound a little bit more uplifting, I guess, but the production is really chaotic in this track, and I think that fits the title of "Nowhere to Go" because it's like, you know, I'm coming out of depression or I'm currently fighting depression, and like I just don't know where to go. So I think the production represents like that feeling of not knowing what steps to take or where to go, what to seek, and whatnot. And I will say that this track is probably one of the crazier tracks, like experimental wise. And when you first dropped this track, the single, it really caught me off guard. But yeah, I don't know if I like it or if it's like I don't know. I'm kind of like in the middle.
I'm in this. I'm in the same boat, Brandon. I don't know if I like the instrumental or don't, because sometimes I'll listen and be like, "This sound like, oh gosh, what am I listening to?" Those weird like throat singing sounds and the.
Hmm.
But then other times I hear it and it just kind of works, the weird throat singing sounds mixed with that weird little piano melody in the back. And it's like, wow, that's really creative. That sounds really nice. And then I like Earl's flow on here. I do wish that. I mean, I'm a big fan of like Doris, and I do wish that it had a little more energy like he put in on there. But I mean, this is one of the better flows on the album, in my opinion. Uh, as for the overall tone for the track is kind of it's weird. I wouldn't describe it as uplifting like you did. But it's not necessarily sad. I don't know. It's so
Yeah, uplifting was a poor word choice.
yeah. No,
Well,
it's
I just meant more like optimistic. I don't mean like I just meant like he's doing like a little bit better, He's not in a super super dark place.
it's such a strange tone, to be honest. I can't even describe it with words. I don't think I have a word to describe the tone for the song, but it's very creative. It's very very neat. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not a song that I'm like fiending to listen to all the time or anything, but it does evoke a lot of emotion, which is nice. So, um, let's see what's next.
Day before Christmas.
Oh yeah, December 24th. All right. Richard, do you want to start us off with this one?
Yeah. So this I don't know, the production on this one seemed like the most like normal. It didn't seem super experimental. It's kind of like uh I don't know. It's still lo-fi, but it's not as what's the word? Like
Out there?
out there, like isolating as some of the other tracks are. Yeah, but it was a great track. I really like the what is it? The wind get the ashes in the end. I mean that I just like his reflection of death towards the end of the at the end of the track.
Yeah, I agree. With the fact that this sounds like a more normal beat. It might be because we get an actual like identifiable drum pattern. Uh, but it sounds. I really like the instrumental here. I wish Earl was louder and more pronounced because I do actually really like his verse here. Um, it's weird to have, lots of songs that I listen to have multiple verses. Most of these have like one or like two, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I do actually really like his verse here. I just wish it was more pronounced on the song. I don't know. He just fades too much into the instrumentals for me. Um, which like he's a great lyricist. He's a great writer. I don't know why he like kind of hides in the instrumental like he does. Um, what do you think, Brandon?
Um, so there is a reason why this beat sounds like the most normal. I think it's because this song has been he's performed this song in concerts back in like 2015, back in 2016, and so that's why the beat sounds pretty normal because it was recorded during that time before he got into like this experimental route. And I think he either re-recorded this song or something because his voice changed dramatically from like what 2016 to 2017 or something like that. Because he's pretty young. He's like what in his he's 22, 23. So yeah, his voice changed dramatically. So I don't know if it was re-recorded and they messed up with the mixing or I don't know, but this is my second favorite song on the album. I really love the beat. I really love Earl's flow on it. I especially love the part where he's like, "How you want them ribs, smoked baby," or whatever. I think that was a clever line. Um, yeah, overall, I really love this track. I'm glad it was finally given a proper release after like what 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the better songs here. Probably top two, maybe. I don't know. But next up we have "On the Way," which is another higher point of the album for me. Uh, I really like the little guitar sample in this song, and you know I like Earl on here too. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
I think this is a really like more positive song. Like he comes in with more energy in this track, which matches like his first lyric where he's like, my mood really swinging." Because like compared to the rest of the album, he doesn't really come in. He doesn't really come in as hard as he does on other tracks. Sorry, I'm inappropriate. I'm immature. But yeah, I really like this song.
Oh yeah, it's. I think that might be why I like this one a lot is because of the more pronounced mood that he has here, and that you can really feel the energy for once. And you know, if I'm honest, the track list is kind of I'm not gonna say it's a sleeper, but I mean it's more toned down if I had to word it right, you know. There's nothing here like keeping me awake and interested, you know, except like this song and the last one. I really like the energy change here. What do you think, Richard? What's in your mind?
I mean, yeah, the guitar was definitely a highlight. I think if I'm noticing a trend with most of the albums we've listened to, like anytime there's a guitar, it always just like elevates the track. It's just I guess it's not really expected, like on a hip hop track that much, but it's always a welcome addition. Um, and this song is no exception. It's pretty chill. It's a pretty chill song, like you guys said. A bit more energy here compared to the others. I was particularly drawn to the what is it? His lines about reopening old wounds because it's like I don't know. It's just it's really difficult or it's really easy to just like hurt yourself by looking at like past memories instead of just like moving forward with your life and not really drawing too much attention to it. So that really that really resonated with me in this song.
All right, all right. Well, with that, we can move on to The Mint featuring Navy Blue. Brandon, you start us off. What do you think about this song?
Um, this was another single I think that he dropped. I think it's like um the first feature in a while. Cause I don't think. Oh wait, no, there were features in I don't like shit. But anyways, I really like Navy Blue on this. Even though his verse is really short, I think there's a lot of substance in his verse. He talks about not knowing who to trust, being done dirty. So I really like Navy Blue. I wish his verse was longer though. But yeah, and I also like Earl's verse. He talks about mental health over wealth and stuff like that. I mean, he talks about like at the end of the song, he's like a lot of blood to let, peace to make, fuck a check. So I think this song perfectly captures like Earl's mentality um, in the rap game, where he would rather prioritize his mental health rather than making a quick buck. And I remember too, he canceled a European tour because he was struggling with anxiety and depression. So yeah, I think this is a really nice uh, track by Earl that just shows to prioritize mental health over wealth and showiness. And I really love the production too. It's really good.
The production's my favorite thing on this track. Uh, I'm really disappointed uh that this particular beat was used for this song, just because I can't stand their flows on this track. I'm sorry. It sounds so like, I don't know. Especially with such a cool beat. This beat sounds sick. And they go on and like, oh, there's no change up. They're just kind of mumbling. Like, oh, I don't know. That's the one thing that stopped me from actually liking this song. Is they're smart writers. They're great writers. And yet, you know, I think this album is just, this has taught me that my brother can be right in some senses. I've always argued with him that like, no, overall vibe of the album doesn't matter as long as the music is there. But this is like, I don't know, I cannot get behind that flow. It is so boring and so, oh man. Notice how my biggest criticisms here are always going to be flow and energy, because that's the only problems I really have with these songs. But yeah, I really like this beat, but man, did they ruin it with that flow. I don't know what they're thinking of that. It doesn't even fit the beat very well.
I will say Navy Blues. I don't know if it's the mixing or if it's just his voice. It sounds really weird, but
Well, the whole album's mix kind of weird. Earl has that weird like filter over him that I could have done without, to be honest. There's a reason that we've moved towards better recording quality and since the 60s or whatever. Like, I don't care for that staticky walkie-talkie filter, but
tell that to people on 4chan, bro. The music board, they love that sound.
that's bro. I mean, it can work, but not here. Not here. We can barely hear you enough. We don't need it crackling too. Like, I don't know. But what do you think, Richard?
I don't know. I feel like it's wrong to come into this album expecting a bunch of energy. I feel
I'm not even talking about like high energy. There's a difference between energy and like, you know, like adrenaline, Like, how do I word this? I'm not talking about like I need my heart racing. I need him to spit a Eminem verse with like, Samadama Lumanama, like rap god. I'm not even talking like that. But like the fact that I can come into this and not really, I can't tell what emotion this is. It just sounds like he's like
I think he wrote a blunt before recording.
Yeah, I was about
Probably.
to say, like, it's a chill, like,
It's not
weed
even
song.
there are chill like vibes you can give, but they aren't here. There's no, I don't know. That's what I'm getting at. What do you think, Richard? Sorry to cut you off.
No, I mean, like, I appreciate it. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, I think the beat and the flow are fine. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with. I just I don't feel like the production was wasted on this one. I like the song. I think this was the second single too, and yeah, it only like made me like question more like what this album would be like because it was just so, I don't know, so chill, so moody, so just, I don't know.
All right. Well, let's go to the next song, "The Bends." What do you guys think about this one?
Alright, I have bias towards this song because I watched the Cam Vlog concert or whatever, and or was performing, and I don't. It was like a transition to this song, and ever since that like one transition, the song has been one of my favorites. It's not like my favorite on this album, but I like it. The beat sounds really menacing. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it sounds really menacing. Um, his flow is pretty good on this track, in my opinion. Um, yeah, there's nothing much to say though, because this is a pretty short song.
Yeah, and I didn't really have much either for this one. I mean, again, the beat, the production with the looping vocal in the background is just, it's something else, and it's another, I don't know, it's like a classic Earl flow. I mean, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything like super fresh brought here that hasn't been shown off in other tracks so far on the album.
I actually really like this song. I think the beat is fantastic. Uh, I'm a sucker for those like vocal clips though that like get cut off like that though. So.
Mm-hmm.
But and then I think this is some of Earl's best delivery on the album. Personally, I think it fits the beat really well too. Um, I like his lyrics here. I mean that's a kind of a given for most of these, but yeah, this one's one of the this one's one of the better songs to me, and it's kind of funny to hear Richard kind of put in the. From what I understand, it's a middle ground song, on the album.
Yeah, like it didn't stand out to me that
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Lucy was better in comparison, but
Well, go ahead and tell us what you think about it, because
That's the next track.
it is an extract. I like how slow it is. It's a minute long, but I don't know. It's I don't know, just really slow. Beats really nice. Earl, uh, I don't know. Even though these songs are short, it's not like Earl is like flying through his lines. He says what he needs to say and he's done with it. He's concise throughout this whole album, which I like. And this song to me is like, you know, a good example of quality over quantity.
man, we are flip flop on lots of this, Richard. I do not like this.
Yeah,
one.
I didn't like this song either. The
Oh
beat
my
sounds
God.
weird.
Yeah, that beat is kind of. I don't know if that one's it.
It's a swamp type beat, bro.
And I don't really care for what he's saying either. It's just, I mean, it's called Lucy, like a loose clip from an album, but it doesn't fit with the rest of it, which makes sense for the song. But man, it's a little too much. And like you said, it's slow and it's only a minute, but it feels so much longer. Oh man. Uh, what? So Brandon, you don't like it either? Tell us more.
Yeah, I don't like it. Compared to other songs, he's not saying. I mean, I'm not Earl, so I can't really, break down these lyrics. But to me, like the substance, there's not much there. The beat sounds weak. It's bad. I don't like the little like no sounds or whatever. It's just not a good beat in my opinion. And yeah, I agree with Jonathan. It's like it's only a minute long, and yet the song feels like 3 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll go next to Azakar. I think this is a highlight. What do you guys think? Yeah? Highlight of the album?
Yeah, this is my favorite track on this album.
I figured. Most people that I've seen list this as one of the top songs here. And I think so too. That beat is fantastic.
Oh, you can go.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say Earl flows over this beat so well, I think. Which in my opinion is rare on this album. But and yeah, he's something else on here. I really like the
You look like a chair when you fold it up.
Oh yeah, I love that.
My cushion was a bosom on bad days. It's not a black woman I can't thank. I like that line for some reason. It's a nice one. What do you think, Richard?
I think I don't know. It feels like Earl's giving more of that energy you're wanting in this one.
That's probably it. That's probably why I like it.
Yeah.
Just think he goes really well with the like. I feel like instrumental recreations to this song. It's like it's so beautiful. I don't know how to explain. Like I can see the Mad Lib influence, but it's just
Oh, definitely.
I don't know. It's beautiful. The beat is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, it's beautiful. I love it, and I love
Yeah.
the way Earl
Well,
flows over
according
it.
to Genius, this wasn't even produced by him.
Yeah, it was produced by wow, what's his name?
It says Sage Elsesser.
Nah, I think I don't know if he's in the same little group that Earl hangs out with. But yeah, that name rings a bell.
Oh, he also produced the Bends. Huh. What do you know? Two beats I like. Same guy. This guy's good. I like him. You want us to tell us more, Brandon? Or is that all? Or
I could spend like an hour breaking down every single line because I've analyzed the song a lot, but overall I enjoyed it. If I talk about it now, it's gonna turn to an hour of me rambling.
all right, fair enough. Well, how about you start us off on Eclipse then?
Eclipse is the production on that song, on that track is not my favorite, and I don't know. Earl's vocals are really weird on this track too, like more weird than on other tracks, at least in my ears.
No, yeah, he sounds very chaotic over it, and the beat is kind of, I don't know, it's like a department store type beat, but yet it's such an earworm of a beat. Like, I really like that sample. It's weird, but like catchy, which I think is necessary in lots of experimental music. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was just gonna say it sounds like a distorted convenience store beat.
But I really like the instrumental a lot. I can praise that all day. Earl over it is okay. I don't know. Lots of these songs, I just feel like Earl just doesn't fit. And like it sucks because I hear the influence from so many artists that I love and admire. I just hear it all over here, but it's not. I don't know. Earl tries to make it his own. You know, I mean, it's very clearly influenced, but yet it's Earl. It's not. It's not like Doom 2. You know. But I think it's where Earl tries to make it his own is where it stops getting to me. And this is one of the cases. I cannot get behind the weird crackly filter and the like slurring of the words here. I don't know. It's weird. But the beat is incredible. I love that beat for some reason. It's a weird beat, but I'll find myself like whistling that like tune over and over again for no reason. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this song was really nice. I mean, the beat is definitely all over the place. Um, I really liked a lot of what Earl had to say on this. Some of the first few lines talking about uh, not being as open as he used to be, and just missing that shine that he used to have, and like I don't know, I kind of feel that because you know, if you're depressed, if you're sad, it's like you can like hide that, and you like try to put out some energy for people, but it's like sometimes it's just too much, and you just really can't hide it. Like you can't fake it anymore. Uh, so uh that hit a bit close to home for me. Um, his line about it being rugged on the peak. Like even for me, it's like like I have a stable job, but it's like there's still some days where I'm like uh depressed because it's like I have to work a lot, work late at night or longer than I should be. And it's like, sometimes when you reach your goal, it's like there's still you still run into some issues. So it's like um yeah. So and then the last thing that stood out to me was Ain't So Sunny by the Beach. Uh yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like the rugged at the peak line, where it's like sometimes things aren't always what they seem to be, even if you really want it. So I don't know. This song definitely had some lasting power over me.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I mean, Earl does a good job, I will say, of reaching that mind frame. And I mean, he does it on this album, but I would almost rather prefer I Don't Like Shit. I don't know. I might just be biased, but I'm glad that you can get something out of it, you know? It it like reframes it in my mind a bit. Um but I guess we can move on to Veins if you guys don't have anything else to add or
I can move on the veins.
all right. Um you want to start us off, Brandon?
Yeah. Veins is another one of my favorite tracks on this album. Like Earl just comes in with like so much like he's back. Like he's um done with being depressed and he's back out, the performance stuff and whatnot. My favorite line on this one track is Earl is not my name, the world is my domain, kid. Like I don't know, that just sounds so badass. Um yeah, I like this song. He comes in with energy, the beat is really good, in my opinion. And I really love the last couple lines to the song where it's like sitting on a star, yeah, sitting on a star thinking how I'm not a star. I just think that's a, a, a pretty line. And it's been a minute since I've heard applause because Earl, stay inside. You don't go outside. You don't,
All right. Richard, you want to go next?
The production on this one was, again, like most of this album, crazy, strange, unique, weird. It's just uh another, another strange track coming from Earl on this one. I thought it was a pretty good reflection of like his life at this point, minus the besides his depression, just like his status in the music industry. Um uh yeah, the Earl is not my name line. I like that quite a bit. Sometimes I wonder if he like ever wants to like change his stage name, because I mean like he made it when he was like a teenager or whenever in Odd Future.
He's talked about it, I think.
Yeah, he wanted to change his name, and people were like, don't change your name. And he was like, no, I made that name when I was like a kid or whatever. I want to like change it.
Yeah. But I guess also with that, if they're not a like hardcore fan, how are they gonna know that it's him?
Yeah.
Earl has, brand recognition with the name. So if he just went by Tebe, who knows how much of his fan base would like retain that it's him or know that it's him. The Oh, we've gone political with the I'll take it from here, or we'll take it from here before. But I like the the line of stuck in Trump land watching subtlety
Yeah,
decay.
I was gonna bring that one up. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could deal without the beat on this one, to be honest, but man is he spitting. Like, this song has some sick lines. And I can't even ignore them. Like, even with that beat that I can't stand. Like, I can't even ignore what he said. Peace to every crease on your brain. That's sick. Why is that so cool? Like, I really like this song. Just for the lyrics alone. I guess this is one instance where lyricism alone can just like overpower the beat selection. Because man, I find myself ignoring the instrumental and just paying attention when he's saying, because I like it a lot.
I like the line where he said, "I've been eating good. You can see it in my tummy." And that's like true because when he came out to perform, whatever, you could see he gained a little weight, and that was good because it showed that he was improving mentally. I don't know. I thought that was a fun line. Him saying tummy.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember I think he did an interview for some like online news publication or whatever. I don't think it was GQ, but like somewhere, one of those. And like I saw a picture of him and I was like so surprised because like all the pictures I saw before were of this like scrawny kid, in the oldie video.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I mean, a lot has changed.
Yeah. For the next track, Brandon, I want you to start it off just because I don't feel like I can introduce it with enough justice because I'm not as big on Earl.
So on this track, it's a little bit of a, I think homage is the right word, to his parents, both his mother and father, who's he hasn't had the best relationship. There was back in like the early Odd Future days, there was a phrase called "Free Earl," which referenced him moving to, I think it was American Samoas. I think he went to school there for a bit due to his bad behavior with Odd Future, his friends. And so for the longest time, he was like away from like his main group of friends and home basically. So he's had a pretty bad relationship with his mother because of that. And I remember in a line in, I don't remember if it was in Doris in I Don't Like Shit or in a Tyler album. Oh, it was on Wolf on Rusty where how Earl's mother disapproved of Tyler, even though Tyler was like one of the reasons why Earl was even doing good in the first place. So obviously Earl didn't have the best relationship with his mother. Um and he didn't have the best relationship with his father either. I think his father left when he was like really young, and it was hard to ignore his father too because his father was also a famous poet, which is where some of these clips are from in the song. His father reading out a poem or whatever. Um, and as Earl matured, he tried to no, he's on better terms with his mother. I think they even do like interviews together and stuff. So this track is like a little homage to him paying respects to his mother and his father. His mother's still alive, but his father passed away. And I know Earl was deeply affected by it because he was when he was recording this album, he wanted to send his father the demo version, I think, of this track, or I don't know if it was this track or the album, but he was definitely trying to repair that relationship between him and his father. And sadly, his father passed away before he could even, be completely on good terms with him. So I think this is a beautiful track, just to like pay homage to people who's made him who he is today. And I'm glad that he's on better terms with his parents. And yeah,
All right, thanks for that. I don't think that track really warrants any criticism.
I think it's just like
so
it's just like a little homage thing.
yeah. So we can move on to Peanut then. Goodness gracious, that beat is awful.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? That's all I'm gonna say about it. Wait.
I don't like the beat. I don't like Earl's flow on it. I think could have done something better. Which sucks because I really like some of the lines on this track, but it's just not delivered well. Like for example, family saw you on the stage, left and not amazed. And that's kind of like referring to how his mother like disapproved of him, like rapping and stuff like that. And it sucks because there's good lines on here, but it's just not delivered well. Um, from an artistic standpoint, I can understand. It's kind of like, but at the same time, I can only listen to it like only a few times, and then I'm burnt out of it. How about you, Richard?
I think it makes sense that this beat sounds. I mean, I don't want to say it sounds bad on purpose, but like it sounds like this. I don't know, depressing on purpose. I mean, this is like I think this is like the first song directly referencing his father's death. So it just makes sense that like the first song really touching on that is just dark and moody. Cause I mean, I don't know. It just fits with the subject matter.
All right. And finally we have the little closing instrumental, Riot. Very interesting way to end a album by what many would consider a lyricist, being an instrumental, but it's cute, I guess. I don't know how to describe it any other way.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I don't know, cause I know in like Flower Boy, look at me fucking future fanboy, but on Flower Boy, Tyler ends Flower Boy with an instrumental too, and I think the purpose of instrumentals at the end of albums, especially an album like this, is to take everything in and process the album, and it's not that long of an album, so you could probably process it through the duration of the instrumental, but I don't know. I think it's a nice closing to kind of like take in what Earl has said. And yeah.
all right.
How about you, Richard?
I mean, yeah, this is just some great jazz for sure. But this really just is for us to reflect on what the 30 minutes that the 30-minute journey that Earl takes us on.
Not much to say about an instrumental.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there is, but I don't think. I don't know.
I think the difference between this and Enjoy Right Now Today, I think that's what it's called. Flower Boy. I mean, with Flower Boy, that that song was like 3 minutes or something. It was very long.
Mhm.
I mean, for an instrumental track, at the end. But this one is just the same length as the others, a minute. So I I'm okay with listening to this one more just because of how concise it is.
All right. Well, let's give our overall thoughts on the album. We're gonna do it like Brockhampton and put me in the middle, so we
I'll go
don't.
last since I brought up the
Okay.
album.
All right, Richard. Let's hear your thoughts. Final thoughts and arbitrary rating.
Well, I mean, it's only taken me like what 3 years to actually like sit down and like listen to this and like actually listen. And I don't know. There's a lot on here that I like. There's a lot on here that just didn't really mean so much to me. I haven't really revisited this album too much and since its release, really. But there's after this, after listening to it again for the podcast, I mean, there's definitely some songs that hold more value to me than others, like uh, the Mint, Eclipse, playing Possum especially. I like for the story behind it. But I just wonder where Earl's gonna go from here. I know he released Feet of Clay, but it felt like it was like, I don't know, that didn't feel like a real project. It kind of felt like B-sides to this. It's been a while since I've listened to it though, so I could be wrong. But uh overall, I'd probably give this a 6 or oh yeah, I think a 6 fits well for me personally. It's not bad at all, but it's not something that I've revisited from time to time, and after this I'm probably not going to listen to it much more.
Yeah, I agree a lot with what you said. Replay value wise, this has none for me. Like none at all. Nothing really want like nothing in me really wants to listen to this album again. Which is sad because there's lots of good lyrics on here. There's great writing all over this thing. There's even great instrumentals all over this thing. But for some reason, it just doesn't mesh. It doesn't create an enjoyable listening experience for me. Um, Despite me recognizing all those artistic qualities in the album. Uh, I think there's good material here. I just don't want to hear it. Like, um, and I didn't like Feet of Clay at all. I liked it a lot less than this, so I'm glad we did this one. But this kind of signified the beginning of the end of me really caring about Earl much. Like I'll still listen to a project just in hopes, but it doesn't match up to his other two projects, and I don't really care for this much. I would give it like a 5 out of 10 if I had to score it. Yeah, sorry, pal. I know this album probably means a lot to you, and you probably love it. You're probably about to give it a 9 or an 8 or something.
No, not that high.
But yeah, I don't know. This album for me just it's not enjoyable. Uh,
All right. I guess I'll give my thoughts now. So I've always been a fan of Earl. Earl has gotten me through some tough times. Granted, I've never been as as deep as Earl has, but regardless, he's been there Um, it's weird to say this, but he's been there when I needed him. And I think yeah, I agree with you guys that I think this album doesn't have that much replayability unless you're in the mood for it. So like whenever I'm feeling down or back in that place, I usually put on some Earl, and whatnot. I really love the album overall. I love the production, even though it can sometimes get a little bit crazy. I can still appreciate the art behind it, and I can appreciate what Earl's trying to say. Um, what else? Yeah, I don't know. This album has been there in tough times. I think it was released in 2018, so this was released like I think a year or two before when I was in a rough spot in life. So this album came in like clutch or whatever. So yeah, I would give this a probably a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 if on a good day, but 7 out of 10 for the most part. It's not my favorite Earl album, but it is one of my favorites. Um, I know you guys hate Feet of Clay, or at least Jonathan doesn't like Feet of Clay. I kind of like Feet of Clay. But yeah, this album made me excited for what Earl has in the future because I went into this album first thing it was going to be like Doris, and I don't like shit, I don't go outside, and I came out of this viewing Earl as a like like a poet, as like a more like a poet, less than a rapper, and that's how I've always tried to view Earl as. I don't when I critique Earl, I don't like like, oh, he has like this flow or whatever. Like he's a poet in my eyes, and as much as I hated reviewing poetry in English class or whatever back in high school, I can appreciate Earl's poetry, and yeah, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Some rap songs.
All right, that was our review of some rap songs. Make sure to leave comments letting us know how wrong we are or how right we are, depending on where you fall. Give your thoughts on the album. Give us requests for albums we could do in the future. Questions, concerns, comments, anything. We'll get back to them. And next week, it's my pick, and I'm picking just in time for the 20th anniversary, I think. The Cold Vein by Cannibal Ox, one of my favorite albums. So that'll be fun for these two to hear some out there dystopian experimental hip hop. But thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you hopefully next week. Peace.
Later.
Bye.
Stream Mr. Rage.